This is Dan Bowen, a glassblower who works at Lifted Design's smoke shop in Jacksonville, Florida. Dan blows borosilicate glass, known as Pyrex, which is a tough, scientific-grade glass that can withstand higher temperatures than traditional art glass. He uses a torch to heat the glass so that he can manipulate it, once molten, into the forms that he desires. The torch burns oxygen and propane and reaches temperatures of over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It also produces an extremely bright glare called sodium flare when the glass becomes molten, so low-grade welding shades must be used to prevent eye damage. Some photos may appear dark because they were taken through these special glasses so that you can see what Dan sees. Here Dan is melting in a pattern on a tube known as a blank that he'll eventually turn into a pipe. He shapes the hot glass by rolling it along a graphite block, which is called a marver. After shaping, Dan tears off the end of the blank to create an even pattern in the glass. A blowhose is attached to the end of the hollow handle so that Dan can shape the glass with his breath. He removes the solid handle and reheats the opposite end, which will eventually become the front of the pipe. Glassblowers must heat and reheat their pieces many times throughout the duration of creating each individual piece. Here Dan stretches his blank and further refines the shape. After he removes the handle, Dan uses a small torch and his blowhose to pop a small hole where the bowl will eventually be. He reheats the piece and presses a pointed graphite tool into the hole to create the bowl, which is where the material being smoked is placed. Glass pipes are often associated with cannabis use, but in Florida, pipes can actually only be sold for tobacco use legally. Dan pops another hole for the carburetor and refines the hole with a different graphite tool, which is called a reamer. He uses a rod of colored glass to add an accent to the nearly finished pipe, then brings the entire pipe to an even temperature with a large soft flame that deposits soot on the surface of the glass. This step helps prevent the piece from cracking due to uneven expansion, which often happens to glassblowers after hours or even days of work. Now that the piece is evenly heated, Dan burns off the soot with a hotter flame in preparation for the final steps. He removes the hollow handle and creates a mouthpiece. He then smooths out a few edges and the pipe is ready to go in the kiln, where it'll bake at 1,050 degrees Fahrenheit before hitting the shelves.